Again,
How about Jrue Holiday?
Jrue Holiday.
How about
oh
Jrue
my
Holiday?
God.
In Game 3, going right at Siakam.
Talk about it.
For the old fashioned three. Just like going right in there. So he gets that one. He goes right at Siakam, who doesn't see it coming. And Holiday described it too. He was on his heels. He didn't think I'd come in there. Gets him with the lefty layup and one, makes a free throw. Then here comes Nembhard, and Holiday's watching him the entire game, saying, well, this guy is only sticking with his right hand. He's going to drive right, so I'm going to go beat him to a spot. Comes up with the steal and wins the game. See, that's what I'm saying.
You know who should be sicker? You know who should be sicker than Indiana right now? Oh, go ahead.
Man, I'm saying that's just thinking.
What?
That's just thinking. That's just like, okay, we still got time. We got time. You should know that as an ex-newspaper man. Hey, deadline is at midnight and it's 11:58. It's 11. I still got time. I ain't late yet. Nah, you can say that. I can't because I would miss it. But anyway, there's always time, even with like a few seconds left. And that's what Jrue Holiday and the Celtics,
Pacers,
they took that approach the entire series.
The Pacers were the perfect participant in this exorcism of Boston's playoff, late game demons, that reputation I referred to earlier. Perfect participant. I was about to say, you know who should feel sicker than Indiana right now? You know who should feel sicker than Indiana? And you've said this several times. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you said it because I remember calling in. Forgot who you were doing the show with that day. Remember, I was in the airport. It was a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I was flying somewhere for Thursday Night Football, and it was so big until I called in from the Detroit airport. What you feel sicker than Indiana right now is Milwaukee. It's Milwaukee, because I was certainly guilty of getting caught up in the excitement and the hype and the fantasy basketball aspect of trading for Damian Lillard to pair him with Giannis Antetokounmpo. But tell me why Milwaukee traded Jrue Holiday again? Can you remind me? Can you remind me, why would you trade Jrue Holiday and not only weaken your team, break up your championship core from a couple of years ago, but basically hand the Celtics, by way of Portland obviously, hand the Celtics a championship?
Hey, you know what? Can I answer that?
Why would you
Can I
do
answer
that?
that question?
Like what? Like the dude, like he'll never win Defensive Player of the Year. He'll never win Defensive Player of the Year in this league because Wemby will probably start to win them at this point. But he should. Like based on what he's doing on this stage defensively, he should go into the 24-25 season as the leading candidate until further notice for Defensive Player of the Year. Because the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, we know, is being put in a blender, oftentimes through no fault of his own. We'll get to that series in a second. The current Defensive Player of the Year is not acquitting himself very well right now. The runners-up are both at home. And Anthony Davis has already said the NBA don't like him. So Jrue Holiday takes a backseat to nobody when it comes to his defensive impact. But not just defense, offensively. The dude is nice.
Yeah.
So tell me what Milwaukee was thinking. Break it down for me, because you've been on this for a while about Milwaukee, and I don't know if I was really listening to you, but now I'm hearing you. Because today I could hear Jimmy. I can hear Jimmy today.
You can hear,
so go ahead.
Tell
me why Milwaukee traded.
You're listening to Jimmy, and you can hear.
Why did they trade this dude?
Okay, it's very simple. Scapegoating. They scapegoated Jrue Holiday. Not like everybody was saying, we didn't win because Jrue Holiday, didn't do the job. That's not it. I think they looked at their playoff flameout. Remember last year they lose to Miami in the first round. They lose to Miami, and the final shot of the game wasn't even a shot. The ball was in the hands at the end of the game. It was not in Giannis's hands because Giannis didn't want to get fouled and go to the free throw line where he was struggling again. The ball at the end of a 4-1 defeat to the Miami Heat, the ball was in the hands of Grayson Allen with Milwaukee's season on the line. And so, and last year when Jimmy Butler was going off against the Bucks, it was not Defensive Player of the Year Giannis. Hey, watch out. I got him. I'm going to check him. I'll get with him. They had Jrue Holiday on Jimmy Butler. Tough matchup, and he struggled with it. So I think they really looked at Jrue Holiday and said, hey, we gotta do some other things, as opposed to going to Giannis and saying, hey man, I know you've done a lot, but we need you to do more. We need you to elevate what we have here. We can build around the periphery, but the core of the team, we need you to elevate the core and the margins. And so they got rid of a really good player. It was stupid. They trade Jrue Holiday to Portland. Portland turns around, flips him to Boston, and the rest really is history. He has been a perfect member of the Celtics. Oftentimes, the fourth or fifth option on offense. Fourth or fifth option.
He's everything they've missed.
Until
respect
they
to
need
Marcus
him to
Smart.
score.
With all due respect to former Defensive Player of the Year Marcus Smart, like, he's everything that they've needed. He's everything. I mean, like, you talked about this the other day about how different this iteration of the Boston Celtics is compared to previous years. It's almost like a combination. I'm not even going to include Porzingis because he's hurt right now and they've still won 7 straight. But it's like a combination of Derrick White's evolution into a star and everything that Jrue Holiday brings to the table at both ends. Because, man, he just makes you work. There are no days off when you're going against Jrue Holiday. There are no possessions off when you're going against Jrue Holiday at either end of the court. It's as if both those players provided everything and filled every hole and every gap and every chink in the armor of the Boston Celtics over the last several years in the postseason. Those two players in particular, White, the player that he's become, and the player that they acquired in Jrue Holiday.
I'm telling you, I know Coach Smith. You still coaching? You still got? Is that?
No, I had to take a sabbatical this AAU season, a little sabbatical. But okay. I mean,
I know
always a coach at heart.
Coach Smith, tell your young players to watch Derrick White. Just watch Derrick White. Yesterday, we'll talk about Jaylen Brown, sure, and Jason Tatum, and those guys are going to get all the headlines and all the attention. Derrick White yesterday had a tough shooting night, but he made the 3 from the corner, the winning basket when it mattered. My man had 5 steals in that game. He had 5 steals and 3 blocked shots and excellent defense. I mean, it was just like if you're teaching young players that there's more to basketball than just scoring, the guys that we just talked about, Derrick White and Jrue Holiday, watch those dudes. Watch those dudes play, and then you not only will you be inspired, but you'll understand the game more. You'll see like how deep and how nuanced this game can be just by watching these guys do their thing.
Yeah. Did you hear Breen and Reddick yesterday talking about how once upon a time, because they showed the stat where the Celtics had like 8 guys make 100 threes this year, which I think is the second year in a row, if I'm not mistaken, they've done that. But they were talking about how it used to be only a couple of guys per team that were those 3-point threats, and now everybody could shoot it. And on Boston, like they always have shooters on the floor. Remember, like how you have a whole team of 3-and-D guys. And 3-and-D used to be like a role player tag.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Right. Like that used to be like a thing that's like, oh, he's just a 3-and-D guy. Like the league is 3-and-D, and the Celtics' entire roster is 3-and-D guys. The whole roster, all of them will lock you down at one end and kill you from 3 at the other end. All of them. It's just like it's really like this is a master class in roster construction. It really is.
Yeah. Roster construction, and just look, this is, I always say, it'll make you, if you want to get old in a hurry, you'll stick to like the music you used to listen to, and then say about the music now, oh, these kids, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what this is. It don't make no sense.
That's me now. That happened to me overnight. I swear it happened to me overnight. I went from listening to Shade 45 and Hip Hop Nation to just like I'm strictly old. I went all the way back to the old school. I'm like, you know what? I ain't got it no more. I don't even understand. That's me.
Let me put on
talking about me right now. Thank you.
Let me put on the Isley Brothers. But the same.
I don't feel
but the
attacked.
same
I
thing,
feel seen.
But listen,
Right.
same thing happened in basketball. Because you can't, like, a lot of the old school basketball observers and fans be like, oh, these boys wouldn't do nothing against Magic. Magic didn't play like this. Michael didn't play like this. Larry didn't play like this. You can't look at it that way. It is, I think the beauty of basketball is acknowledging that era, and it was great, but also seeing what's happening now. Like, Al Horford is a perfect example of what used to be and what is. Al Horford has his feet in both eras. He was he was the third pick in the draft. He was a low post guy, never ventured more than 7 or 8 feet from the basket. Yeah. And, getting a bunch of rebounds and just, put back guy. And now Al Horford, in game 3, making seven three-pointers.
Making 7 threes. Right.
A guy who used to be a pure post player in the old NBA is now, as you described it, a 3-and-D guy. He really is. He's an old head 3-and-D guy in the new NBA. I like it.
A 3-and-D
I'm
center.
sorry. I like it. I love watching it. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.